Carly Suspension, this is Tyler.
Hey Tyler, this is Johnston. I have a 2021 Ram 2500 Limited with Mega Cab and air ride.
Okay, 21
And
Ram 2500 diesel with air ride in the rear.
yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, what's going on, man?
And it has the alternate like height thing with the airbags. And
Yeah.
what I was wondering, and I also wanted full tow capacity on my vehicle, or damn near close to the full 21,000 pound tow capacity.
Yeah, so all of our
What?
kits are going to retain that.
No
full
shit.
capacity. Yep. So the reason that they do retain it is we're still utilizing the factory airbag. We're using a block to bring it up a little bit, and then we're using a new linkage to make the truck think it's still sitting at factory ride height. So we're tricking it into thinking that it's all the same as it was from the factory, so that all those components still work exactly as they did before.
So as far as what tires do these get? Because I'm looking at the pin top system.
Were you looking at the leveling pin top, the 2.5, or the 3 1/4 inch pin top?
My next question that goes along with that is, so on the 3, because on your guys' or CJC Off-Road has pretty much my same exact truck, like literally to a T as the demo truck.
Okay.
For the lift kit.
Uh-huh.
And it has a 3 and I think it's a 1/2 or 1/4 lift on it on 37s. And I'm wondering what kind of tires these dudes run to get the full tow capacity and have some because I go camping and overlanding.
Right on. So just any real like a load range E10 ply tire should be suitable for you there. We like the Toyo Open Countries, either the ATs or the MTs. And then we also like the Falcon tires as far as specific tires to choose. The Toyos are going to have that load range E10 ply rating. You want to stay away from an F though. Don't go with a 12 ply. Just keep the E10 ply tires.
All right. And then as far as availability for, well, actually, this question would be better asked first. So I saw a bunch of the upgrades for the pin top kit, like the arms, sway bars. So what upgrades are worth it?
As far as ride quality is concerned, torsion sway bar is going to be the first one I recommend. That's going to treat the front end of your truck more like an independent front suspension. For instance, when you're going over a speed bump at an angle, one tire at a time, or you pull out of a driveway at an angle and you get that harsh side-to-side rocking that almost tosses your head into the side window kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm 6'6", so it's fucking going into the damn roof.
Gotcha. So as far as that goes, the culprit in that harsh side-to-side movement there is going to be the factory sway bar being so rigid that it marries those tires to one another. So they're not able to articulate to soak up the bump individually.
I understand that from the RC car thing.
There you go. Yeah. So when you get our torsion sway bar, it's got torsional rate. So as you turn into go into a turn and the truck starts to lean, that sway bar is going to lock up and control the sway. But at the same time, it has enough flex to it that it allows each tire to soak up bumps individually instead of tossing the cab side to side.
And the other thing, so I bought the truck I think it's about a month ago now, and the dude that had it before me, because you just can't find these limiteds anywhere, so one popped up that was lightly driven, and he put leveling blocks, like 2-inch fucking leveling blocks in this damn thing.
Gotcha.
And my truck thinks that it's like sagging.
Yeah, it throws off the actual sensor in the rear when you bring up the front end.
That makes it stiffer than a motherfucker. I mean, it feels like a brick back there.
Yep, and that's the whole point of us using, in the front, we're using a lighter rated coil spring that's going to soften the ride in and of itself. In the rear, we're doing that block and the new sensor link to make sure that it doesn't have to pump extra air in the bag to get to that new height. So, yeah, we're getting it back to the factory pressures and tricking the truck into thinking it's still sitting at the factory height. but the ride quality is improved based on the lighter spring rate up front and the custom tuning in the shocks to make sure it's controlled rather than being bouncy or sloppy.
Okay, and then also, I know on your at least on because I thought that CJC Off Road was your guys' goddamn website, but then
Gotcha. Yeah, they buy the Google ads, so they come up first.
Yeah, and it says that your guys' top mount steering stabilizer is out of stock for like 6 months.
Okay, it sounds a little excessive. I would think that the torsion sway bar would likely be something that'd be further out than the steering stabilizers, just as a general statement. If you're going to run 37s on the truck, I'd highly recommend running both of those stabilizers. That's going to get you as much control on the steering system as possible and minimize the feedback you get in your steering wheel when you're cruising down the road.
Okay, next question. My truck has the fancy bullshit where it fucking autocorrects in the lane and all that shit.
Yep.
Do people have issues with any of the fancy high dollar this is my first truck that I ever had with any of this bullshit on it. And
no problem with it. Functionally, the problem that I see people have is after they install the kit, before they go to get it aligned and straighten the steering wheel, the steering wheel being off throws a code, and that thing kind of freaks out to an extent.
Oh, shit.
So once you get the steering wheel straightened and the truck aligned, there shouldn't be any sort of issue with that lane assist or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah. Well, whoever does it will be some shop in some high dollar shop around here in Arizona.
Okay, cool.
So they'll have to deal with all that bullshit.
Yep, that'll be stuff that they'll take care of in the install and the alignment process.
That's good to know also, because I don't know if down the line if my truck gets out of alignment and it freaks it out, then I'll know that would be fucking why.
Yep.
Because the steering thing was weird, man. I was worried about jacking because I'm not 3 inches isn't really jacking it up because I still need it to be fucking workable and use everything. But I wanted the ground clearance. I mean, what size tires do you guys run on the 2.5 inch?
A lot of customers run 35s, but there are a lot of guys who do like stuff 37s down in there. It's going to be virtually the same trimming required, maybe a little bit more with the 2.5 inch kit. But the guys over at CJC have put a ton of 37s on these leveling height kits, just the 2.5. It's still going to be the same wheel spec, so 9 inch wide, 5 3/4 inch back spacing, and that's the sweet spot to where it pulls the tire away from the frame enough to clear all the suspension components, but it still keeps it relatively tucked in the fender well.
Okay, then that ties into another question. So I kind of like the stock rims on the truck for now. Would that fit on the bigger kit, or do I need to get a different offset? So
that's the problem. Anytime, if you keep your factory wheels and tires, like your factory tire size, you'll clear everything. But it's anytime you go to an oversized tire on a factory wheel, you're going to start having clearance issues on the suspension components. So that's why we recommend going to an offset wheel to pull it away enough to clear an oversized tire. With that being said, you could always talk to the guys at CJC. I know they've done a few builds where they put 35s on factory wheels. I don't know exactly what they experienced when doing so or how they mitigated it, whether it was a small spacer or if it just barely kind of squeaked by and cleared. I would get a little bit more information from them because, how it works here is we figure out what works best in the R&D process, and then we leave it at that. We don't do installs and stuff like that, so we don't see a wide range of different wheel tire combinations. But CJC does, and they're going to have a lot better info on it.
So based off of the R&D that you just told me, what do you guys test the truck at, wheel and tire setup for R&D on the 3.5 inch pin top kit?
We go straight to that 5 3/4 back spacing on a 9 inch wide wheel, and that's how we cycle everything on a 37 with that kit.
With obviously every single option on it.
You got it. Yeah. Most important options though overall, torsion sway bar to help the ride quality, and then steering stabilizers, both the high mount and low mount, to control that heavy tire on the truck.
Okay, and then what does the $1,500 arms do?
A lot of people get them just because they look bitchin' on the truck. They will add a strength improvement there. They also utilize a spherical Johnny joint at the frame pivot. That allows the front end to cycle a little smoother because it doesn't have a rubber vulcanized bushing like it does from the factory, which binds up as it's cycling. So it's a minimal ride quality improvement, but with the radius arm drops on the 3 1/4 kits, you can see that arm very clearly under the truck. So most people get it to kind of finish off the look of the system or improve the strength if they're going to be beating on the truck.
Yeah, like fucking romping the son of a bitch like it's fucking worth $20.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Holy shit.
Some of our customers are animals, man. That's why we make this stuff.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm buying all this shit and I'm using it for like a tenth of what the fuck it's meant for.
Nah, that's perfect though. It's all about functionality and ride quality here. So, even though it's designed to be able to take heavy hits, it doesn't necessarily have to. It shines in both kind of cases.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of also why I went with you guys, or I'm going to go with you guys, because of that reason. I got to have, it can't just be it's not a blowjob machine. It's got to fucking get work done.
Absolutely.
And, I'm putting a 16,000-pound winch on the front of this fucking thing, and that was another question for you, is if I put a 16,000-pound winch on the front, is that going to fuck with the spring rate?
Are you doing like a big-ass bumper with a winch combination, or are you going to try to kind of make it work with the factory setup?
Through Fab 4s makes a winch box that mounts into my tow hooks.
Okay.
I don't know how much that weighs, but I'm not getting a big-ass bumper. It's not really my gig.
Awesome. See, that's only going to be in, let's say, the 100-pound range, give or take, including like the bracketry and the winch and all that stuff. That shouldn't make a significant difference on this setup. You make it a very slight height decrease as far as, with that weight leveraged off the front bumper. But your front coil springs that are going to come with this kit are linear springs. So it's not like you're going to degrade the ride quality by adding that weight to the front. The only thing is it's going to maybe sit a little tiny bit lower. But there's even guys that use those big, like, hefty bumpers on the front of these things and still run them with those linear rate springs. You just don't get the same kind of height.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it probably won't change too much. I mean, compared to one of those big fucking bumpers with all the bull bars and bullshit.
Exactly. There's guys out there running those, so your truck with just the winch on the front and the bracketry to mount it should not be any sort of issue.
All right, yeah, and I got tools in the bed anyways. Well, the air ride shit fucking equalizes all that shit. But
Yep, the air ride will kick in.
I'm asking a lot of questions because I've never spent this much money on a damn lift kit.
I get it, man. It's a big undertaking and it's a lot to try to take in. I understand.
Thank you for answering all my questions. I don't think I have actually availability on the kit.
So that is going to be a question for CJC. Since we don't sell direct and they're shipping from their own stock, they can tell you exactly what they have, what they're waiting on, and how long it should take to get the components that they're waiting on.
And you guys send most of your product to CJC?
I wouldn't say most, but there's a shitload of stuff going over there every week. We do 1 or 2 deliveries every week to those guys, and they have so much already on back order with us that they're constantly trying to keep their shelves full. So they're going to be your best bet for the quickest lead time, especially because we don't sell direct from here.
All right. Well, I appreciate all the information, and you have a great day, man.
Right on, brother. You too, and feel free to reach back out if you need anything else. But those guys should be able to answer these kind of questions as well if you want to run them over when you're actually placing the order. Those guys are very familiar with our products and these trucks and should be able to help you out as well.
And what was your name again, sir?
My name's Tyler.
Tyler,
yep.
Thank you. I appreciate everything. You have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Justin. Later.
Later.